passion project for my English 10 class. This project is about people that are involved in Oklahoma's community and how it impacts them and how they want other people to be involved as well. Today I have Mr. Luis Hidalgo, and why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Luis Hidalgo. I work at Scissortail Community Development Agency, which is a non-profit here in Oklahoma City. We've done it all. I mean, we've been involved in all kinds of different projects in the community. We've done our events for Cinco de Mayo and Fiestas Patrias. We also have we've had educational opportunities for students with scholarships, and we also work with parents on trying to get them better educational opportunities. So we have all kinds of different really good projects and programs that we work with.
How long have you been with Scissortail organization?
I've been with Scissortail for about 5 years now. About to be 5 years, yeah. So it's been a while, yeah.
What made you want to get involved with them? Like, how did you discover about them?
Well, it all started when I was in high school. I came to the U.S. when I was 15 years old, and I was born in Nicaragua. So, I lived in Nicaragua all my life, came here pretty much to start 9th grade. And when I started 9th grade here, everything was different. I didn't know anyone, I didn't speak a lot of English. So it was really hard for me, and some of the teachers and people at school wanted to get me involved in different things to kind of get to know the community. And I started volunteering at all kinds of different events, at the Mexican consulates that were coming with helping translate and fill out paperwork for people. I also helped out with the Guatemalan consulate. So very early on, when I first moved to Oklahoma, I started being very involved in just volunteering everywhere I could. And eventually I worked at the Latino agency before Scissortail, and then the obvious next step was to work at Scissortail, just to continue my work in the community. So I've always, ever since I first arrived in Oklahoma City, I've always been involved in all kinds of different community projects and things like that.
Since you've been at Scissortail organization for about 5 years, right? What would you say was your favorite so far that you were a part of?
There have been so many great events and activities we've been part of. Definitely the festivals were always really exciting for me. Now OCCC puts them together, but just being involved in the planning and executing of huge events like Cinco de Mayo and Fiestas Patrias, they're everything from sponsorships to vendors to having a paramedic there, to having police, having security, figuring out all of that. It was always very exciting to me. So definitely the events.
Yeah, I was a part of those events as well because I danced there, and I would say it was a great experience. That's where me and my friends really got really close at the time, and that's how we hit it off because of those type of events. Those type of events really gather people together and they have fun. Whether they don't realize it, they have fun there.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to know a lot of people in our community through the events. Definitely, it's a great networking opportunity. I always tell students to go and volunteer and try to be part of anything that's going on in the community, because of course you're gonna help, but you're also going to receive a lot because people are watching you, and eventually you're going to need a job, or you're going to go to school and you're going to need some help from people. So yeah, volunteering is great. It's not only the fact that you're helping, that you're doing something, but also the fact that you're receiving something in return, which is great relationships. As you grow older, you're going to find out that having good relationships or getting to network with people and meeting people is going to be super important, because anywhere from finding a good job to maybe getting a referral by someone, it's always much needed to know people in the community. So that's one way to make good friends.
From everybody you have met while being involved, what was the best piece of advice you have ever gotten?
I think the best piece of advice is the same one that I just gave you. Just staying involved and volunteering at different places. It's a great way to really help. To really make your own mark in the community, but also to receive in the way of new friendships, new opportunities. You never know who's gonna offer you a job or who's gonna want to help you just because they've seen you help.
How do you think being involved changed you as a person?
Well, I think it's been everything I've done throughout my adult life. It's been getting involved in the community and doing things. So everything I am, I think it's tied to the fact that I've been involved in the community.
What piece of advice would you give out to whoever's watching this video?
Well, I would tell you and all the kids out there to stay in school. I mean, it's always great. I mean, everyone tells you that, but it's staying in school and really finding what you're passionate about. Whereas if you don't want to go to school and you want to do a technical career, at Metrotech or Francis Total or something like that, then do it. But just find what you're passionate about, because that's what's most important in life. Finding what's important, finding out what you're passionate about, finding out what your goals are, and staying in school is usually one way to do it.
Who really pushed you to be out here? Like, who gave you the confidence and the courage?
There were a lot of people that really believed in me all throughout, and continue to believe in me even today. Starting with the teachers at school, and I remember one particular person. Her name is Juanita Sykes. She was my one of my instructors at Metrotech, and she always found ways to get me involved, to find opportunities for me. She was kind of like my second mom here. So yeah, she's a great part of my life. And as I graduated high school and I went on to college and then I started working, I met a bunch of people that have really helped me and have really pushed me to be better, and have believed in me to give me opportunities to work and to really make something different in the community, something important in the community.
Who would you say was your favorite person when you met and while being involved? Like, who has to be your favorite?
My favorite person? I don't know. I can't really think of one single person that I've met throughout my professional career that I think would be my favorite. I think I have a lot of favorite people. A lot of people that I met when I was in high school that were fellow classmates. So I went to high school in the north side. I went to high school at Joan Marshall. So a lot of the volunteering I did early on when I first moved to Oklahoma was here in the south side. So it was crazy to me that I met a bunch of kids that were like me, that looked like me, that had similar experiences like mine. That they came here when they were older, and then they had to learn English and they had to do all these different things. So definitely, and I always admired the fact schools like Santa Fe South that had so many kids that looked like me. Made a lot of friends at Santa Fe South back in my day, and so I would say my peers from the south side that I met when I was in high school on the north side, very lonely over there, but then I would come volunteer down here, and then it would be great because made a lot of friends through that.
Yeah, it's the little things that can have a huge impact on you and could really form you into the person you can be today.
I think I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they were talking about the importance of little things, your everyday routine. Well, you're gonna spend half of your life on your everyday routine, getting up, showering, maybe drinking your coffee or having breakfast, When you get home from being away from a while, like you're gonna have dinner, or you're gonna do this, or you're gonna maybe dedicate some time to your hobbies. So everything we do in our everyday life, which it's a very minuscule things, the things that we don't really think about every day, are so important because they can shape the rest of our life. So always paying attention to the things that that we don't really think are important, because those are the most important sometimes.
What keeps you going while doing this in your adult life, while being involved?
What keeps me going? Well, the desire to do good for people. Just finding opportunities for other people is important to me. Just because not everyone has or has had the same opportunities I've had. So if I can help someone maybe take that next step in their life to do something good, then to like maybe change completely the course of their life, then I'm gonna try my best to do it. So that keeps me going. Just just creating change and trying to influence things for the better in our community. Whereas is education, or maybe connecting someone with somebody that can help them. Sometimes it's just very small things that I think really fuel me to continue in my work.
What do you think you have got to have to be a part of the Scissortail organization?
Well, to be part of the organization I work for, I think you just having a passion for the community and wanting to help, and obviously having some sort of expertise in whatever you're being hired to do. But most of all, if you don't have any passion, or if you don't have a desire to help people, it'll be very hard to work in the nonprofit world, just because it's not as profitable as some other jobs out there, but it's always very rewarding.
Throughout all of these events you attended to from your organization, what had to be like your favorite act, like your favorite piece you ever seen?
Favorite act, like show?
Yeah.
Definitely. We had a mariachi festival back in, I think it was 2018, and we brought Mariachi Campanas de America from San Antonio. And the night before the big festival, the big event for the mariachi festival, we had a reception for sponsors, and the whole mariachi, which was I think it was 15 or 16 of them, played like privately for us for like an hour. So it was incredible because there was very talented musicians. They were very, very good, and I still remember that performance like it was yesterday, and I even watch the videos every now and then, just because it was so breathtaking. So I would say that private concert by Mariachi Campanas de America was one of my favorite.
What was your first ever event you attended to or organized?
Well, as far as organizing, before I did the festivals with Scissortail, I helped put together a few events at the Latino agency. But my very first event at Scissortail was Cinco de Mayo back in 2018. That's when I first started at Scissortail. And yeah, and a few other smaller events before that.
What would be your recent event you attended to or organized?
Well, my most recent event was the Financial Resources Fair, which was an event at Santa Fe South. And it was just an opportunity for people to find information about buying homes or saving or finding a financial institution that can really help them. Right now there's a huge issue in our community around people getting scammed and and maybe not having the right resources when it comes to dealing with finances. So we had this event just to really show the community that, hey, we have some resources out here that could help you, and you don't really have to go with people that are going to scam you and rob you. And always being aware that people are out there trying to also make or take advantage of our community. So it's part of our job to also help people out. You know, if they're falling victims of this type of stuff.
Yeah, and especially with social media, with a huge thing, it could really affect how people take advantage of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing, that event, I think it really helped a lot of people with the right resources and where to go.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling. A lot of and just the fact of putting something like that together and the response that we receive from the community, it just shows me that people are anxious to learn more about this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely another good advice would be make sure you know a little bit about finances before you start your life as an adult, because it's complicated out there, and if you don't know how to manage your credit, or you don't know how to save, or you don't know how to keep up with those healthy habits in the way you deal with your money, it's gonna be really hard. You know, you're gonna have a very complicated life if you don't know how to work with that.
How long do you think you're gonna keep doing this?
Well, I don't know. Whereas I continue to stay in Scissortail, or if I go somewhere else, I think I'm always gonna be involved with the community somehow. Like I'm always gonna think about ways to really help people out. I think it's part of who I am now. So I don't know. For as long as I live, I think.
The main reason I wanted to do this project specifically is because when I grow up, I want to be a news reporter or news anchor, whichever I fall into, I'm fine with either. And the reason I wanted to do this project is because I want to meet new people and get to know them rather than just their name themselves. I want to know how they got involved, how they want others to get involved, and their just themselves overall.
Yeah, it's different when you have a conversation with someone that you've always seen that person around, you know, like in different places or events, or in a hallway somewhere. But if you have a heart-to-heart conversation with someone, then you really get to know them, and you can, you're not gonna look at that person the same anymore. You're gonna say, well, that's the guy that's always around. But now you can say, well, I know what she does. I know what he does. I know what they do. I know what drives them. So yeah, it's always important to hear what people have to say.
Yeah, because a lot of people knew me just by my name alone, but they didn't really know me for who I am. So a lot of people judge me just because of like how I post myself on social media, and they say, "Oh, she don't look like this in person." Well, it's all about personality, y'all. But I have met a bunch of new people here at Pathways, and they just knew me by my name. But then you could tell like they like met the real me, and they're like genuine friends right now. That I used to be like a name to a face. Now I'm like their friend. So.
Right. I mean, it's always important to hear people's stories, because that's how you realize that at the end of the day we're all in this together, and we just really need to help each other out instead of pointing fingers or just judging people without knowing them. So yeah, always important to really get to know people, or to have meaningful relationships. I think that's important.
Well, yeah, this is the end of my passion project for this first podcast with Mia. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.